For the record, this will not be a rant about Season 4, Episode 1 of The Dragon Prince. Instead, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the issues and complaints that I've seen from the community in the comments and some of my own issues, because there's one glaring problem with Season 4 so far. What's going on, everyone? James here, and today we're going to get into some more of a breakdown, honestly, of episode 1 for season 4 of The Dragon Prince, Rebirthday. In case you missed my reaction, you can find it floating around at the top of the screen or in the description below. And I went ahead and broke down scene by scene all of the season 4 premiere, because there's some little cool Easter eggs in there, guys, and some awesome theories that I'm sure we'll dive into as the week goes on. And hey, if it is your first time here at the channel, welcome to Real James, where again I love talking about The Dragon Prince. So if you do too, and you like movies and TV like me, hit the big red button below, subscribe to the channel, and tap on the bell, because you're not going to want to miss out on my reactions for episodes 2 through 9 beginning this Thursday. It's going to be so much fun. And hit the big thumbs up button too if you enjoy these sort of videos, and get loud in the comments and let me know, are we overthinking things? It's only episode 1, right? And we'll talk about that. Or do you feel like all of these concerns and issues are valid? Alrighty, y'all. Well, let's waste no more time and let's begin. But I want to begin on a more optimistic note, because these thoughts that I have on episode 1 are overwhelmingly positive. And I know I'm not the only one who enjoyed the season 4 premiere, but honestly, I thought it was a solid episode in the context of what this season may turn out to be. As a standalone episode, it is more filler-esque. It does have that vibe where it is not necessarily raising the stakes, it's setting things in place, and there are certain seeds being planted, like what is this being in the cocoon that it's not Erebos, but we know Erebos kind of put it there. Maybe it's very ominous so far, and we know that Viren only has 30 days to live, and Rayla's still not in season 4 yet. So there are a lot of different questions that have yet to be answered. However, I felt like it was a really good episode because it was setting the table for what's to come. So I cannot judge all of season 4 based off of one episode, right? I do think that because we didn't get it all at one time, some fans maybe are a little impatient, but now I honestly understand why they're not doing a weekly release for The Dragon Prince after seeing episode 1. It makes more sense to watch this back to back to back, because you get the full scope and scale of what this 9-episode season really will turn out to be. And also, guys, we're 4 seasons into The Dragon Prince, and how can we sit here and judge an entire season off of one episode knowing what this creative team has done in the past? They've given us no reason but to trust them. So trust them I will, because we saw the humor that we enjoy in episode 1. The animation, we'll talk about that, but for the most part, it does look like they've taken some steps up in terms of shadows, lighting, and even some of the models. And I do like this dark tone that they're beginning to allude to, which might make season 4 the darkest season of The Dragon Prince yet. Now, while I am positive on season 4 episode 1, and I do think that this season of The Dragon Prince is going to turn out to be something special, especially for those who have been waiting for season 4, there are elements of episode 1 where I do have to raise my eyebrows and think, there could be room for concern. Now, here's where I'm going to pull in some of your comments into the video, because there are certain things that I noticed that you guys also noticed, and I want to begin with the one glaring issue that I have so far, and that is the animation. Not all of the animation is bad. We've seen some really cool moments where everything does look much more detailed, and there are even scenes like at the King's Council meeting where Opeli, her facial animations looked good. However, there were instances with Soren, even with Corvus, I would even say with Viren and Claudia, where there are times where they seemed too stoic and stiff. But don't let me be the only one telling you this. I want to bring in some comments now from some of the real family. So this comment says, "Great video." Thank you, I appreciate that. "I thought this episode was so good, and it made me excited for the new season even more. The cube not glowing with the sky caught my eye as well." And here is the animation part of the comment. "I agree with you on the facial animations. I think something does seem off, and the flossing is just, well, yes, the flossing was not great. We dropped a YouTube short about that, and I also talked about it in my reaction. We don't need any more of those meta jokes. No, they're dated enough. Hopefully that's the last we'll see of that. But the animation, yes, something is weird in the faces in some of these characters, even in King Ezran sometimes, where it just, I don't know, things aren't moving like they should. They don't seem as smooth compared to seasons 1 through 3, especially season 3, where I thought the animation style was at its peak. And then this comment says, I noticed the CGI too. Some facial expressions, fast movements, and walk cycles are stiffer than before. It kind of feels like they're all NPCs in a video game or something. Harsh. Except for Claudia and Viren, their scenes were okay. So it seems to me at least that they are trying to up the amount of computer generated animation in a way, and it looks less artistic to some degree, where you can tell there are some elements where they've changed the art style completely. I do like how much more detailed, for example, the hair is. Callum's hair bouncing around outside with the wind, that makes it seem much more natural. But I look at season 3, I'm rewatching seasons 1 through 3 right now, I'm almost done, and season 3 for me just had the perfect blend of this unique style that the Dragon Prince has, and you can tell it looked a little bit better than season 2, but sometimes it's okay to just continue to keep a consistent animation style. However, I know they're trying something new with season 4, but maybe it will play better as the season goes on. But it is great to see that there were some commenters who said even the animation was a step up and an improvement. So listen, I do think that it's too early to judge, but there is room for improvement, and I believe that they'll get there. Now, let's get into the storytelling so far. The storytelling and writing, for me, it's not bad, honestly. It's just some of you felt it was, and boy, some of y'all came in with the hot takes. I'm like, wow. For me, I didn't feel like there was anything wrong with season 4, episode 1. It was supposed to reintroduce us to this world of Zadia and Catullus, and it felt good, at least for me, to be back with these characters. And it's been 2 years, of course, according to the story, since we've seen these characters. So there's this time skip. You can't just assume that they're going to get right into the thick of the plot in episode 1. It's a 9-episode series, or season, excuse me. And of course, according to like most television storytelling, you kind of have to gradually get there. You have the rising action, then the climax, and then the falling action. Like there's got to be those peaks and valleys, you know. You can't just immediately get into the thick of things again with episode 1. So I appreciate this pacing, but some of you I know didn't. One comment said, this is easily the slowest opening to any season, and the animation feels a little off. It's setting up the rest of the season for sure, and I hope the quality goes up. And yes, I think that's a respectable criticism. I just really believe that the quality will increase. I mean, the more we get into any season of the Dragon Prince, the darker the story in a way gets, and the more mature the storytelling is. I feel the most childish to a degree storytelling was in season 1, but then you get into season 2 and eventually in season 3 where Erebos is just full-blown I'm gonna control Viren. That is pretty dark, because at that point Viren is pretty much a dictator, and he's just ruling over these people against their will, turning them into lava warriors, and it's like ridiculous. Sure, but it's gonna take a little time, guys. We'll get there. And then I noticed some other comments that said things like this. Episode was boring, harsh. This one says, it also feels more childish than the other seasons, but we just talked about why I don't necessarily think it does feel childish. And then there's this one, I will say that I was underwhelmed by the quality of it. To me, this is one of those cases where your expectations aren't met. And that's why for me, I temper my expectations with any project that I'm heading into for the most part. In terms of TV series, you know, this is one season of television that I came into really excited, and you know what? I understood the direction for episode 1 enough to the point where I feel my expectations were pretty much met. And I know that that can't be the same case for everyone, but you know, we do have to temper our expectations with a television series because it's going to take time. Now with the movie, totally different story. For example, The Batman. I mean, it is an incredible film, 5 out of 5 for me, and my expectations were exceeded. So those are the rare instances that happens, but for TV shows, you got to just give it time, and you pretty much have to wait until the end of the season. Now, this comment to me is actually really interesting because it makes me pause and think. And I quote, So in 2 years, Zubia never said, hey, there's this very important mirror that Viren stole along with the egg, do you guys have it? And Callum never bothered to ask her or show it to her, even as one of his drawings, even though he is actively researching it. So this sort of brings up another issue where there is still that divide between the humans and the elves and dragons, clearly. So to me, I understand this point of view because there's going to need to be some explanation there, and I think they will explain why Zubia and Zim are still so distant and why the humans aren't connecting. I just think it comes down to one of the more logical explanations, which is, guys, there has been most likely centuries of deeply rooted mistrust between the dragons, the elves, and the humans. So the Zadians and the humans are not getting along right now, and some probably are coming around, but like with any sort of change in history, it's going to take time. It's going to take longer than 2 years for something like this, you know, the divide between Zadia and the human kingdoms, for them to come back together and be harmonious. It's not going to happen right away, and I do think that's the reason why Callum necessarily is focusing more on trying to solve the runes and translating them using the tome of translation in the mirror, and not necessarily work with Zubia and Zim as much. And hey, maybe Ezrin said, y'all, leave Zim alone, let Zim have that time with Zubia, we'll just go and try to take care of Catullus. And you know what, they're gonna need to, because Erebos is coming, and they're gonna have to get everyone on the same page, because to me it's gonna be Erebos versus everyone, and Erebos could possibly beat everyone. And those are honestly the only issues and complaints that I saw consistently in the comments, and some that I had myself. So there you have it, y'all. That's what maybe is wrong so far with season 4 of the Dragon Prince, but if you had to ask me, I still would say that season 4 premiere was a B+. B+ because of course, it's Callum's birthday. We gotta give him the benefit of the doubt. Y'all, this was so much fun. Again, we are not gonna cast any sort of doubt on the rest of this season unless they give us a reason to, but for now, I'm enjoying what we got, and I cannot wait for Thursday, where I drop my episode 2 reaction and we talk about it right here on the channel. So if you don't want to miss out on the insane amount of Dragon Prince content that's about to come this weekend and beyond, go ahead and hit the big red button below, subscribe to the channel, y'all, get involved and get loud in the comments and let me know what you think of this video and what you think of season 4 so far, and hit the thumbs up button if you want to see more videos just like this. Alrighty, y'all, this was so much fun. Thanks for tuning in, and I'm gonna I don't know, I'm gonna rewatch episode 1 because, to be honest, I liked it, y'all. Alrighty guys, again, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you at the next screening.